Welcome to the Four Rooms podcast, where we explore the four rooms of entrepreneurship: health, wealth, scale, and relationships. Each episode is dedicated to opening new doors and uncovering insights that empower you to design your entrepreneurial journey to be both lucrative and fulfilling. And now, your hosts, Amber Spears and Brett Kaufman.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Four Rooms podcast. I am your host, Brett Kaufman, and I'm joined by the AI wizard herself, Sarah Montana. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks so much for having me today.
Absolutely. So we first connected, for everyone who doesn't know us, in Scottsdale. You came to the first ever Four Rooms event, and later on, I'm excited for you to tell people about your experience. But I'm so excited because you being so deep into AI, you showed me some mind blowing stuff there in Scottsdale. I'm super excited about to show us here on this podcast.
Thanks. Yes, it's been super fun digging into AI over the last several years. I'm probably 5,000 hours into it and, just kind of watching how other people are utilizing it, being so immersed in it, you kind of forget that other people aren't using it the way you are.
Yeah. So on that note, why don't you share your screen? Let's get into
All
it.
right, let's do it. All right. All right. So I know that a lot of entrepreneurs and, people that I've spoke with, when I ask them, hey, where are you at with ChatGPT or with AI in general? And essentially they are using AI, but they feel like, oh, it's okay, but I don't really get exactly what I want out of it, or it's good for ideas, but I have to go in and redo it afterwards, but it's good for brainstorming, things like that. Have you found that to be the case with some of the people that you're working with or the people that you've talked to about AI?
Absolutely.
And so, I like to present a question is what if the real problem isn't the AI? And what is it if you're failing to train it correctly? And so,
Yeah.
essentially, I just kind of want to show you what I've been able to do as far as going in and utilizing custom training and just kind of show you a little bit so that you can create the authentic, engaging content that I have been able to, and not be afraid of it. So often I hear people that are saying like, oh, I feel like it's, not going to sound like me, or it's not authentic to my brand, or I don't feel like I'm being authentic to my followers. And I really like to let people know that this is an extension of you. It's an extension of your capabilities, of your personality, and your impact and your reach. So we're not replacing you. If you're utilizing AI effectively, it's not inauthentic because you are training it. It is truly becoming a part of you. And so if you can go in and follow these steps of defining your styles, give it examples of, especially, someone like Amber, when you have a wealth of content that you can bring in as training examples, you don't need to sit there and use a prompt and say let's create a pain agitate solution blog post that's engaging and witty, because it already knows who Amber
Hmm.
is and how she's talking and things like that. So right now, I feel like people are always relying on the prompt, like every TikTok video, things like that. They think it's all about the prompt. And in my experience, that's just simply not true. And so let's essentially, hold on. Let's just dig in and hop into ChatGPT itself. I did a little bit of custom training. Um,
Hmm.
that I think you guys will like, hopefully. All right. So this is the custom GPT that I've built for Four Rooms. And I went to YouTube and essentially downloaded the transcript from a couple of videos from Amber. So all I have here is just a strict video script. There's absolutely nothing else in it. I didn't put anything else here in this document. Now on the back end, I have trained this with Amber's voice. I'm essentially doing what I'm showing you now. So I want to kind of dig into what can happen when you've given it your authentic voice.
Hmm.
So let's just start here with this transcript.
And this was from a like a podcast that Amber did.
Yes.
Cool.
All right, so when I train a custom AI model, I want it to walk the user through and not like just leave it to them, because a lot of these people, even though they're, amazing at their craft, they're not prompt engineers. So I like to kind of take that out of it and walk them through and create the frameworks that I recommend for creating content. So as you can see here, it's not just saying like, what do you want to do? It's almost pushing you to do that for you.
Hmm.
So let's go ahead and let's create some content. It's always so anticlimactic when it's like, all right, so now it's giving us our ideas of what you want to create. So you as the content creation expert over here, what are some of the things that you're working on right now, or how would you answer this question?
Let's do number 3. Let's do LinkedIn.
I like to build my things so that you can literally just respond with a number and you're not having to put a bunch of stuff in.
Oh wow, it's already spitting out different options.
All right, so it is mapping out all of those. These look a little bit shorter. It's just kind of like a quick little thing. Do you want to maybe do something that's a little bit longer?
Yeah, can we create a more long form LinkedIn post? I don't know because I saw number 3 said LinkedIn and Twitter, so I don't know if it was like abiding by a character count.
Okay, upcoming event, want carousel LinkedIn slides or a video script. If you have a specific call to action, let us know. So let's create a more long form educational article, as well as a full video script for Amber to record. All right, so now it is breaking down a full LinkedIn article. So far, how does this sound?
Pretty
Do you
good.
feel like it's authentic to her? Does it sound like something she would write?
Yeah, yeah. Especially based on one video script. Um, this is
Now,
this
again,
is a
I
good
want to be
start to
clear.
be
This
aligned.
is not on one video script because we are using a custom trained GPT right now.
Okay.
So I have gone in on the back end and created things like her brand voice, her frameworks, her style guide, which I will show you um, how to kind of like dig in and do that um, here in a minute. So I just kind of wanted to give you an example of what is possible. And then I show you a couple of little tricks too. So I don't know. Some people are amazing at creating videos. I personally need to have at least somewhat of a script or bullet points or things like that. So I'm going in and asking it to create scripts for me. Let's see. Okay, now it's doing the video script. All right, so it's gonna give us like the kind of like your video shots, something that you could send to your marketing person. So like that's another example of like explaining to AI your processes of like who's on your team. Do you have a video editor? Do you want like these cues and things like that? Or do you simply want the scripts? So going in and giving it those frameworks of like, hey, this is how I work. This is what we do. When I sign off my videos, I usually say, until next time, or I use one of these 5 closings, or at the beginning, I like to use this style of a hook. Let's see. All right, so it's kind of giving the whole thing. Now I'm going to ask it, now give me just the script with no other directions or cues, just the script for a teleprompter. All right, so now it's removing all the cues so that you could just like copy and paste this into something. So I personally use something called Big Voo. There's a lot of them out there, but just like a captions type style. Do you want me to show that?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I would essentially just take this script and copy it. There's a couple of fun extensions that you can use. Here, if you want, you can just click the little copy right here and you should be able to paste it into a document fine. If you are in the desktop version, for some reason, the copy and paste does not work as well. So what I recommend doing, one of my biggest tips in utilizing AI is using your voice. And so I like to have the desktop version open here. And I can refresh this, like if it's not seeing like what we are working on right now, you can go in and refresh it so that I can speak to it. So like, for
I know.
example,
I love that feature.
one of the things that people struggle with is it's like, oh no, that doesn't sound right. And so then they will copy it and then they'll go somewhere else and edit it. And you need to do it inside of the AI that you're using so that it can learn. So for example, we're doing a video script right here, but I could interview you as the expert or interview Amber and say, all right, read through this script. What changes do you want to make? And if you can see here, I'm recording. And I would just be like, oh, okay, like at the beginning, oh, one relationship away. Okay, that sounds good. All right, like, can we also throw in a little story here about such and such client? I was just talking to Jeremy Newsom yesterday, and he was saying this, this, and this. And so she might want to put in something that, the AI wouldn't have known because it happened yesterday. And so rather than taking this and spending, 30 minutes editing it, you can take 36 seconds and give it a quick rundown and then be like, okay, give me the script now.
I love that so much.
So I'm not going to do that because I don't want to change the script, but just showing you that utilizing the desktop version is super helpful when it comes to voice. The same thing on the app. So for me, like I've built a tool, I call it Sarah's brain dump assistant so she doesn't lose her shit or sleep. That's like the definition of it. But essentially it's my brain dump. So when I'm driving in the car or when I am, thinking of new ideas, it has the framework of who my assistant is, who my VA team is, all of those things, like the things that I kind of do and how I delegate and like my SOPs for my business. So when I spit into it of like, oh, we need to create this landing page and all right, I need to like, send this contract out. It literally, I can voice that all in, and it will throw everything back and be like, okay, assign this to your integrator, assign this to your VA, assign this to so and so, like for your content creation. And so it already knows all those things. So I don't have to go back every single time, and it's just going to give me like this amazing checklist. So now going back into the into the browser, we'll just hit this copy button, and you could go into a tool like BigVoo and essentially add in the script. And I'll just show you here. This is one that I was working on, actually very similar to this concept of like why entrepreneurs are wanting and how they can implement AI into their businesses. And so I literally paste in the script, and I can hit play and sit and record. How much time do you spend editing AI generated content just to make it sound like you? What if you could train AI to write exactly the way you do without constant tweaking? Without AI personalization, your brand messaging becomes inconsistent. Your team wastes time fixing AI outputs, and you risk losing engagement from your audience. Isn't that awesome?
That is awesome.
Yes. So now I can take that, I can record again or whatever. This particular tool will take it and put captions and everything into it. So here I can hit, it doesn't matter. Like there's lots of tools out there that you can essentially go in and edit. As far as like if you want to create shorts or things like that based on it. Another example that would be great for that is if you do have like a long form content, is taking that long form content and be like, hey, where are the, like even from an editing perspective of where in the minutes here are my like key things that I should be focusing on that would make good quotes, that would do, that would make good Instagram posts. Let's see. I wanted to, oh, yes. My other tips are to record everything. So I literally have my phone running the voice memos app on the iPhone. It just got an update, so you have to have the new update. But if it's just the little red and black thing on voice memos, hit record regardless of what you're doing. So if you're meeting with a client, obviously figure out if you're in a 1 or 2 party state, if you have to give people a notifying that you're recording them. I got in trouble in New York one time.
Interesting.
And then when you record it, you can click on the 3 little buttons on the side. You used to have to use a tool like Otter or something like that to go in and transcribe. Now you can literally just hit copy transcript and then go and paste that into your GPT, and it will do everything for you. So you don't even have to go and transcribe it first. With that being said, anything like Zoom or anything that is on your computer where maybe you want to watch the slides or things like that, this is Otter, and it records everything that I do. It also has its own little like AI chat, so you can ask it questions like what were the action items from this meeting? What are our next steps? Things like that. And so that's super helpful if you want to have it in real time right there. But if nothing else, just get in the habit of when you're brainstorming with a colleague or you're, doing a presentation on stage or creating videos, any of those things, just record and then upload that into the AI and say like, hey, match my tone of voice, match my brand, like give me a knowledge-based document based on this of how I speak for future content to be authentic and engaging. The other thing is, sorry, I lost my train of thought.
as you're pulling back your train of thought, I'll say
Uh-huh.
that tip is so helpful because I mean, I do it all the time where I'll like send a voice note to someone on our team or I'll even voice it myself or WhatsApp trying to remember, but then like it gets buried. I don't want to listen to this 5 minute monster I just created. So just to have it be transcribed and already like tag the person, like, oh, that is such a great thing to do. So
Yeah, I mean, even like, for example, I've created a workflow that my Zoom is connected to Otter, and my Otter is connected to my Google Drive, and
smart.
my VA assistant has access to my Google Drive. So now, and it took a little bit, there's like a Zapier and a make thing in there. It's not perfect, like it takes a hot minute, but now every time I do a Zoom, the recording goes directly into my Google Drive, into a folder that she knows that she can go and take that content and use it to repurpose and create. And then she has
Very
access
smart.
to these tools that she can go in and create, reels and things like that from it. Um, One of the things that we didn't touch on is AI voice. And that is really revolutionizing the way that people are running their businesses, whether it's from customer support to onboarding. What we did with Amber and the four rooms, they had a 63 question onboarding. And it's very difficult to try to gather all that information and it's time consuming. And so you can build these voice AI agents that sound like you, that talk like you, that can be funny, answer objections, things like that. And really create a great customer experience, and it gives you leverage. One of the things, speaking of leverage, that I think is so important is nailing down your customer journey and your customer personas. So let's use an example of this video script that we were just working on. I'm going to delete this since we were... And Brett, if you were to kind of hone in on a couple of her target audiences for Amber, I know it's, those 7, 8, and 9 figure entrepreneurs, but do you have a couple of different niches that we should maybe segment this content and make it a little bit more focused to their specific pains and concerns?
Yeah, so we tend to attract e-com, info and coaching. I put that in the same category, and then service providers.
Okay, so maybe we've got 2 buckets. A lot of other people, they might have 5 different buckets. If you've got, if I work in health and wellness a lot, so maybe you've got someone that is the chronic illness person that's struggling with this. You've got the athlete that is trying to amp up their performance. You have the person that's getting older and is just trying to reverse that aging effect. Those are very different audiences. And it used to be so time consuming to create engaging content, so you had to be generic. Well, now you can create this leverage by really personalizing it. So going back to Amber, just because I'm recording here, let's go ahead and create 2 versions, one for your e-commerce and one for our other bucket. This is a new feature of ChatGPT. It's not my favorite, I'll be honest. It, instead of just like keeping going, it like rewrites. So you have to be kind of careful.
Mm.
You can hit the back button as like the previous version, but you do want to make sure that you're copying. Like if you have it the way you want it, but you're just trying to ask it for some more information, it'll sometimes go back and take it all out, which is not my favorite. But okay, so this one's for e-commerce. Like, all right, they focus on scaling with paid ads, influencer marketing, and aggressive growth techniques, but they often ignore the biggest growth accelerator, relationships. Your next supplier could cut your costs in half. Your right JV partner could double your traffic overnight. Okay, so that obviously is much more in line with those people and their concerns, correct?
Totally. Yeah.
So then this is the version for consultants and service providers. That's interesting here talking about like you need a better funnel, you need other outreach. One of the things that I've found with AI is so often people think they need like, oh, I just need a new AI or I need, you know, Claude is so much better than ChatGPT or, oh, have you tried Grok? And honestly, like it's not about the tool, it's about what you put into the tool. So
Yes.
being able to regardless of which one you're using, giving it that authentic brand. And then the other tip that I have is have it ask you the questions that it needs in order to accomplish the goal that you're trying to do. So if it's like, hey, this doesn't sound like me, what information do you need in order to create this, you know, kick-ass article? And it will ask you those questions. Then go in with voice. Do not try and type because it's so inauthentic when you're typing. Just think about how much more expressive you can be and the direction that you can give it.
Hmm.
And it'll run with that. So the other trick that I like to kind of reframe in people's mind is to really act like it's an assistant. So I know training assistants is a giant pain in the neck, but if they were there on your first day and you told them to go write a blog post and it didn't quite sound like you
Right.
essentially, I doubt you would fire them on the first day. You would give them feedback. You would give them some like, hey, think of it this way. Like, let's try this, or okay, that sounded good, but let's make a couple of edits. And so really train the assistant and talk to it just like you would an assistant. I even use like, hey, nice job, but let's do this, this,
Hmm.
and this. Or, hey, thanks for doing that. Like I literally talk to it like it's my friend. Um, and I feel like the output is so much better in that regard. Um, I did create a little checklist for people if they want to, you know, text the word checklist to 435-222-5021. I've kind of created a little guide for them um, that will map out some of these things for us. Let's see, I'm going to stop my share for a second and we can kind of chat a little bit more. Um,
Amazing.
what questions do you have for me? Um, as far as you know what we've seen so far, are there any other like big questions that you feel like you're struggling with or other people are struggling with? Ooh, and I did just think of one more tip.
For
um
it.
so often when I do go in and look at someone's chat gpt thread or some type of ai that they're using, I see dozens of different chats. And one thing to remember is that if you are going in and giving it all of this content, you've downloaded podcasts, you've given it video transcripts, you've given it all these things, and you're asking it to do one thing, and then you're deciding to change gears. Maybe you were creating a lead magnet over here, and now you're writing a customer engagement 5-part email sequence. Um, if you're to go into a new chat, I always say it's like if your assistant was there and you would knock them upside the head with a 2x4 every morning. That's what starting a new thread is. And so you want to stay in that same chat, and it can change context very well of like, okay, we were working on this. Now we're going to focus on this customer engagement. Okay, now we need to switch gears and we're going to create some social media content. So the only reason that I would recommend doing more than one chat or session is if it's very different of like, hey, let's make a recipe plan for, you know, my healthy recipes, or I'm trying to create a weightlifting plan so that I can gain 10 pounds of muscle in the next 6 months, or we're going on a family camping trip and I need to create my packing list. Those are the
Yeah.
things that you would put in a separate chat. But anything that has to do with your business, as long as it's not crazy broad, there might be a few unique cases where maybe you have clients. And so, like, I have different chats for each of my unique clients. But if you're just a solopreneur or you're a coach and like all of your stuff is you and your brand, you would really want to keep things in the same chat stream.
So that makes sense. So I do have a question. So something that I find is because I like using Poe a lot. I use Chat too. I just found Poe. I think I was just brought up on Poe and I really enjoy it. I also love the voice feature. So that's really cool because I don't have chat on my desktop, but I'm gonna get on my desktop. But I love when you said that because like when I get to speak to Poe like I'm speaking to an assistant, the outcomes for me are so much better. So I'm so glad you hit on that point. But I digress. If I'm writing a long email sequence as an example, and I have it like outline it for so sorry, step one, I'm uploading the documents to train it on like new stuff. And then step two, we outline it and then it starts having write each one and we go back and forth on edits. I find that sometimes it forgets the outline. So what I started doing was taking it, putting it in a Google Doc and be like, by the way, we're on email three. Here are the points we already discussed that are going into email three. How often are you reminding it of the content that it learned, like new stuff you're uploading to it, not like what it's trained on?
So I do like using numbers. So, like, for example, I was doing something last night for Amber and I was creating 5 lead magnets. And so, in the initial post, it was like, come up with the 5 core concepts from my webinar that I input. And it's going to give me those 5 core concepts. And then it's like, all right, now create the lead magnets for each of these 5, and it will give me an outline. And then it's like, okay, that looks great. Now let's actually write the full content for lead magnet number 1. Now let's write the full content for lead magnet number 2. If you can kind of guide it through those, it really kind of depends how intentional and how like specific you are about the content.
Mm,
If it starts to go off, like you can give it kind of guidance where you could attach the document. So you could take the initial outline, put it into a Google Drive doc, and then save it as a plain TXT file.
hmm
So that's the other 2 things. So plain TXT works really well. And then if you're trying to create any type of a knowledge document, you can ask ChatGPT or any AI to put it in markdown language. So markdown language is really weird, but it's like little hashtags. It's essentially kind of like a coding language, but it allows the AI to reference things easier. So if you were to say hashtag FAQ, and list out your customers' frequently asked questions, when it's trying to create something going forward, it will be able to easily go back to that FAQ to reference it. So same
mm.
thing of like, oh, my brand voice is this. My tone and style is this. My sentence structure is this. The way that I create videos is this framework. And if you create that in markdown language, it's easier for the AI to understand.
Cool. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because when I've been able to re-upload as like reminding it, and then it goes off the rails less, which
Yeah.
is nice.
So, sorry if I didn't fully finish my thought, but like again, saving it as a TXT file, putting it back in and be like, hey, like remember the outline. Even if you didn't do
Hmm.
that, you could literally say like, hey, I feel like you're getting off track. Like, remember we were doing this. Like, can you let's regroup. And it should go back and kind of learn those nuances and figure out what it's doing wrong. Same thing. It's just like guide it like a teenager. Just like give it, put your voice memo on and be like, all right, like you were doing good there for a while, but now I don't know who you're trying to be. Like let's reel it in there, buddy. And it usually will do that as well.
Well, that was amazing. You hit on all the main points we wanted, and thank you for all the great tips. Is there anything as like a final tip you want to give people that you have not yet shared?
Um, I think that voice is probably the next big up and coming. If you're not already utilizing AI in your business, you're behind. And so,
Yeah.
try to embrace it. It's one of those things that I know it's scary. Go implement it in one part of your business. I think so often people try to eat the whole elephant. Or we go
Yes.
to a convention and we're talking about AI, and it's like I'm always prefaced by a lawyer, either before my talk or after my talk. There's an attorney that is speaking about the legal implications and things like that. There are a lot of guardrails if you're on a paid version or if you're using a tool like the tools that I build for people. Those are done through the API, and it's not being used to train the language model through OpenAI. And so you can be, have some security in the sense that it's your IP is secure. So you're not just throwing this out there to anyone. If you're not on a paid version, then what you are putting out there is going into the language model. So that's one of the things to consider from a security standpoint. But typically, if you're a content creator, you're putting that stuff out there anyway. It's not like these big trade secrets. It's like you're literally trying to get content out there. So, but yeah, I think that really nailing having some custom trained things so that you can create that leverage, because honestly, I feel like it's almost making yourself more work. If you haven't taken the time, it's an investment. It's an investment to either do it yourself, hire an expert to do it. Like, I feel like leapfrogging and utilizing someone that has this expertise is like, I'm 2.5+ years in, and my knowledge-based documents and the way that I train my AI is wildly different now than it was 2 years ago. And so it's like, do you like stay in your creative genius and do what you do best, and like get some help, get some feedback on how to create these tools so that you can implement it into your business and create the impact and expand and do things that you want to do and focus on what you do best.
Wow, that was a great tip to end on, and that was a powerful one. So thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you.
Well, for everyone that's listening, Sarah flashed the QR code as well as the number. We'll make sure to put that down in the show notes so you guys will also find it that way. And then I'm excited because hopefully we'll be seeing you in San Diego at our annual event, and you're just going to rock it there because so many people are going to benefit from you.
Maybe we can throw the AI voice agent number in there too, if you want to try that out, because I think a lot of people can implement that into their business,
Totally.
from a
Send
customer
it over.
support, onboarding, all those things. So we'll throw that number in there too, and they can call and talk to my little AI assistant. Mine's about wellness, so pretend you have a wellness business that you're calling in about. But just to kind of, you can actually test her too. Like, I highly recommend test her and be like, hey, like, I actually don't have a wellness business. I'm a coach and consultant for this and this, and it should kind of be like, all right, like, I can do that too, and it will kind of give you the ideas of how you can implement AI into your business.
Amazing. Send it over. We'll put it in there. And thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
As we wrap up today's episode, we have something special just for you. If you've been inspired by what we've explored today and you're ready to take your learning to the next level, then our 4 Rooms Mastermind live event is the perfect next step. And because you're a part of our podcast family, we're offering an exclusive 10% discount on your registration when you apply and are accepted. This is your chance. It's your chance to build relationships with other ambitious entrepreneurs like yourself, to dive deeper into the 4 rooms of entrepreneurship, and to connect with experts who can truly help accelerate your growth. Simply follow the event link in the description of this episode and use the promo code 4rooms10. That's FOURROOMS10 on your application to claim this opportunity. This offer is subject to application approval and it's limited, so don't wait too long to make your decision. Join us and transform your journey with the insights and networking that only our live events can offer. Thank you for tuning in today. We look forward to seeing you at the event and, of course, right back here next time on the 4 Rooms podcast. Until then, keep balancing and keep growing.